Well, all right, people. So I'm here with a little rant on the 2021 Royal Rumble. I mean, you just look at this card, you look at the build to the matches, and it was pretty much non-existent. I mean, I don't know how you can watch this show week in and week out, waste hours upon hours of your life watching this bullshit, and actually get entertainment out of this shit. I just figured I'd start watching, see what's going on these last few weeks. Got a little bit of free time on my hands. And I don't know how you could just watch this show and get entertainment out of it. The only reason I watched is so that I could review it and rant on it. So you got I'm gonna do a predictions video or a preview video as well. But I just wanted to rant on some of the shit here. The most obvious thing to rant on is your world title match, Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg for the WWE Universal title, but which, by the way, is a retarded fucking name for the belt. Just call it the WWE Championship. Why do you got to call it the Universal title or whatever the fuck? I think they renamed it. I don't know what the fuck they're calling it now. They can't settle on a name for it, but I guess it might be the WWE Championship. I'm not sure, but anyway, this is one of the stupidest matches I've ever seen. So. I keep repeating the same shit over and over about it, but it's just WWE keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. They bring back Goldberg, a washed up 54-year-old or however old he is, and they just stick him right in the main event just like that because he's Goldberg, and because they can't build any new stars, they got to bring back has-beens from the Attitude Era and just stick him in the main event 25 years later. Such an embarrassing business model. But you figure, right, okay, they bring back Goldberg. You're still going to get a build to the match, right? Wrong. You don't get any build. But Ruthless Ranter, Drew McIntyre had COVID. I don't give a fuck. Goldberg still wasn't there. They could have still done some promos. And they could have still done somewhat of a build to the fucking match. But instead, you literally get one sentence from Goldberg. One sentence for your build. I mean, what the fuck is that? That is zero effort whatsoever. And it is a slap in the face to WWE fans. And as a WWE fan, how can you be satisfied with that build to the Rumble? And then you get Drew McIntyre, who's your world champion. But to me, he's not anything special. I look at his character, and what is his gimmick? He's a guy from Scotland or wherever the fuck he's from. He comes down to the ring, sticks a sword into the ground. He wears a gay-ass looking skirt to the ring. I'm not a big fan of Drew McIntyre. I'm sorry. He's got a decent-looking finisher, but that's about it. So that title match is a slap in the face. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Nobody wants to see that. Drew McIntyre. You got stars on your show like AJ Styles. Why not put him in the main event? Oh, no. We got to go back to the well, which is dry as fuck, and pluck Goldberg out of obscurity and stick him in the main event. Goldberg, a guy who embarrassed himself in a match with Undertaker. And you know what the match is going to be? It's going to be a couple spears, a couple jackhammers, a couple claymores. And it's probably going to be like a 4-minute match, if that, with 2 fucking moves. It's going to suck. Then you got Asuka and Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I mean, if you watch this show like me, you would have, over these last couple of weeks, you would have forgotten that the women's tag titles even existed. You got Charlotte Flair and Asuka, who are apparently your tag team titles, who are your women tag team champs, and they don't even feature them on the show together. They're just doing their own thing. There's no storyline whatsoever. I didn't even know they were having a fucking match. What is this shit? I thought Asuka was feuding with Alexa Bliss, but apparently not. This is a problem with the creative team. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Everything's jumbled up in a giant mess. Nothing makes sense. So apparently there's just random ass match inserted in the Rumble that I didn't even know about. Even though I've been watching Raw for the last 3 weeks, I didn't know that this match was occurring until I looked up the fucking card to the Royal Rumble. That's how bad the creative team is. So that match just makes zero sense whatsoever. You got the 30 women Royal Rumble match, which is dumb as fuck. I didn't even know there was 30 divas in the fucking whole division. So why are you having this 30 diva rumble, which is going to be a complete waste of time? It's going to be 30 people out there punching each other for an hour and a half, and everybody's going to fall asleep while they're watching this stupid ass match. I mean, okay, if you want to have a 15, maybe 20 diva Royal Rumble, fine. But no, everything's got to be equal, people. The feminazis say everything's got to be equal between men and women. No, it doesn't. Not with fucking sports. Women are not as physically strong as men, so they do not deserve as equal a spot in this company as men do. It's just a fact of the matter, people. There are certain aspects of society and culture and things that women are better at, and then there are certain things in the world that men are better at. Men are better at sports than women. So we don't have to have a 30 women Royal Rumble match. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Nobody wants to watch that, to subject themselves to the torture of watching 30 women, 30 divas for an hour and a half punch each other. So no, I don't want to watch that. That's going to be, I might have to fast forward through that. Like, honestly, I didn't know that there was 30 of them to even, feature in a whole match. I don't even think there's 30 divas in the whole division. Then you get the men's Royal Rumble match, which I'm kind of looking a little bit forward to, I guess. There's really no real storylines going into this, just a bunch of people that have announced themselves in it. Edge is going to be there, which I guess is something cool. Of course, they couldn't have made it a surprise. They had to advertise it because that's probably how desperate they are for people to buy the fucking network. Even though they reduced the price from $44 a pay-per-view to $9.99, nobody probably wants to buy it because this product is shit. And now they reduced it. I hear WWE is going to Peacock for $4.99 now. So they even reduced the price even more, probably because nobody wants to pay money to watch this shit. It's probably nobody even wants to pay fucking $9 to watch this shit, let alone $9.99. I mean, I don't want to pay $9.99 to watch this. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna find a website to watch it on. So they just keep reducing the price of it, and now the whole network's jumbled together with Peacock's shows, with NBC shows. So it's not even worth $4.99 now. See, that's how, and it's funny because that's really what it's worth. Like, it's worth nothing. To pay for these pay-per-views, which are so shitty, they're probably worth like $1. That would be a fair market price to pay to watch one of these pay-per-views. So I'm glad they're at least acknowledging that their products aren't really worth anything, that they're not worth paying for. So that actually is a good thing that WWE is doing with reducing the price and moving the network to Peacock. So that's actually a good thing, I got to give them credit for once that they're actually acknowledging their product sucks and it's not worth anything anymore. So actually, good job WWE in Vince McMahon. Good job on that part. So yeah, I mean, Edge is going to be there though. They very rarely have any surprise returns anymore. You look back at some of the biggest returns over the last few years. Not many of them are surprises. Like with Batista a few years back, they pre-announced that shit. Probably to try to get more people to watch the show. They've really toned back the Royal Rumble returns over the last few years. I mean, they've had some big names and shit, but I feel like they used to have bigger names. I mean, you go back to the 2011 Royal Rumble. You remember how many big names were in that? You had Kevin Nash, Booker T. Now it's like, oh, they'll bring back some jobber from the Attitude Era or some jobber from the Ruthless Aggression Era. Like, they really won't bring back any big names. So we'll see what happens. Like I always say, I'm kind of a little intrigued with the Rumble match because you're always hoping for some big return. You're always hoping for some cool moment. Like maybe Becky Lynch will return in the Divas Royal Rumble, which won't be that big a surprise. That'll actually be a negative because I hate Becky Lynch. I hate the character. I'm a man. Shut the fuck up. You're not a man. You're a woman. So shut the fuck up with that shit. So maybe we'll get a couple nice returns, but you can never get your hopes up with this company. That's the problem. Every time you get your hopes up with this company, you think they're going to do something special. They just shit right on you and totally drop the fucking ball. Somebody says wrestling without social media was so much better. And if there's a return, it always gets spoiled or leaked. That's one of the that's one of the things too that's made this show so shitty. You get fucking people out there spreading all these rumors. Oh, there's going to be a return. There's going to be a return. Most of the time, it's not true. Like these wrestling websites that we got a source inside WWE that says this person's going to return. Report CM Punk to return. Report. Shut the fuck up about reports. You don't got fucking sources. Fucking WrestlingRumors.com. You don't got a fucking source inside WWE. So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. All these fucking rumors see on wrestling websites, probably about 5% of them turn out to be true. I'm so sick of them. And then if there is a legitimate report out there, again, it spoils the return for us WWE fans. But I've seen so many fake reports out there from these websites I've never heard of with some fat ass probably sitting in their basement saying they got a source inside WWE. My friend's cousin's sister, knows somebody that does catering in WWE. That's probably my source. Get the fuck out of here. Another reason I hate this company, just hate wrestling in general. Then we got Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. It's a last man standing match, so at least that adds a little intrigue into this match. But the build to this match was really fucking weird. So they advertise it as first, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce. And I'm like, okay, no matter what way they go with this is dumb as fuck. Because if they actually end up doing Reigns versus Pearce at the Rumble, that would be a disaster. But then if they change the match, it's like, okay, now you wasted time with fucking around with this tease of doing Pearce versus Reigns that could actually have been devoted to building up the actual match. And then it's like they do the contract signing on SmackDown, and then Pearce is like, I added a stipulation to it. If I get injured, Kevin Owens replaces me or some bullshit like that. Like, what the fuck are they doing with the creative? Like, fuck is the creative team doing? Like, half the shit doesn't make any fucking sense at all. So now we're gonna get Reigns versus Owens. We'll see if this is a good match or not. But again, it's WWE. Don't get your hopes up, people. So just looking at this card here, like, it's not very impressive to me. You got Goldberg. Fuck Goldberg. I mean, I don't know why he's wrestling on this show. And I keep saying this. You only got so many big-time spots throughout the year to build new talent. You only got so many opportunities that can contribute to building your next Steve Austin, to building your next John Cena, to building your next Rock. And if you continue to give those opportunities to people like Goldberg, to people like The Undertaker, to people like Triple H, or whoever the fuck you want to put in there, then it really hinders the development of potential new talent. And I'm not saying that Goldberg or Triple H or Undertaker don't have a spot on this company. I'm not saying they can't be on television. But you got to strategically put them in matches or in segments or in promos or in storylines to maximize their benefit. You can't have Goldberg fighting for the WWE title. You can't give the belt to Goldberg, okay? That's just a disaster. That's stupid. Now, do I have a problem with Goldberg being in a storyline or Undertaker being in a storyline? No. But the especially at this point where WWE pretty much has zero big time stars, the focus should be building stars for the future, building stars that are going to be in your main events, that are going to be big time players in years to come, in 5, 10, 15 years to come, not focusing on Goldberg. I mean, it's such a disaster. I mean, this company is so much in the shit. And I was looking at, people say the ratings keep going down, and that's true, but I mean, normally, with with television now, ratings are going down for all shows because people are just less likely to watch television. So you could make that argument there. But like you look at network buys, and they've been pretty. It's not like they've been going up over the last few years. Like they've been pretty consistent, I'm pretty sure. And you just see so many people fed up with this product now, and like it's just like, does WWE take their concerns seriously? It's like you got a large portion of the fan base that is very dissatisfied with this product. And it's like WWE doesn't even pay attention to those people. They don't address it. They don't come out and talk about it. It's just, they're just the online, the internet wrestling community who are dumb as fuck. Like, WWE doesn't address the outpour of dissatisfaction with this product. I'm just reading some of the. Let me go through some of the comments here. Somebody says, "Why are they doing another women Royal Rumble? Those are always bad." Exactly. It's like I said, it's just going to be an hour and a half of women punching each other. I mean, who the fuck wants to subject themselves to that? I feel bad for anybody who's going to subject themselves to that and who's actually going to pay money to see that. Somebody says Becky Lynch is so cringe. I fucking hate Becky Lynch more than anything else. It's a terrible gimmick, a terrible character, a terrible idea. Oh, I'm a man. She's like stunning Steve Austin. She's given a stunner to Steve Austin. She's, with the Rock in segments. I mean, it makes me want to fucking puke. Somebody says, watch Goldberg win at the Royal Rumble. I'm worried. Me too. I was actually laying in bed last night. No joke, thinking about that. Like, are they going to give the belt to Goldberg? Obviously, they've done it in the past. So why wouldn't they do it again? They had Goldberg bury Kevin Owens a few years back. And that's what I'm talking about. You bring back some loser from the Attitude Era. I mean, he's not a loser, but you bring him back and you put him over Kevin Owens, an up-and-comer. And really, Kevin Owens hasn't really been the same since then. I mean, it was great when Kevin Owens won the title, right? He won the title from Seth Rollins. It was a cool moment. But then a few months later, you got a fucking 50-plus-year-old grandpa going over Kevin Owens. And I am worried he's going to win again at the Rumble. But I wouldn't be surprised at all because this company, time and time again, makes the wrong decisions over and over again. I once saw someone on Twitter comparing Becky to Steve Austin. Yeah, I mean, it's this obsession with Becky Lynch is just it's just too much. It's like you get all these feminists out there that are like, oh well, women can do everything that a man can do. Actually, they can't, and that's just basic physiology. It's basic, it's just a basic premise that women cannot build muscle as fast as men are. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just a fact of the matter. And therefore, men are more entertaining and better at sports. That's why the WNBA gets like shit ratings, And it's not an insult to women. There are many things in this world that women are better at than men. But it's just sports isn't one of those. Okay, there's differences between men and women. So stop calling yourself a man. Like, why is that a good character? Like, I wouldn't go out there and call myself a woman. Like it's stupid. It's dumb and it makes you look like a moron. Somebody says, why am I still watching it? It's a waste of time. I do agree it's a waste of time. It hurts my brain. It hurts my eyes. It hurts me in general. And it puts it just put my brain through a lot to watch 3 hours of this bullshit every week. But I just started watching again just to really rant on the product. I was bored. I'm not watching it for my own entertainment. I mean, you would have to be crazy to do that. I'm just watching it so that I could review it, talk to people about how shitty this product is. I don't see myself watching this product for much longer. I don't know. Who knows? But I am off work most Mondays, so that's why. It just kind of gives me something to do, I guess. But I just I've always liked talking about wrestling, and it is fun to rant on it. So I put myself through 3 hours of torture so that I could enjoy myself for 15 or 20 minutes every week and rant on this product to people that also have a problem with it. Somebody said they just read the results and laugh. Yeah, I mean, you could go on YouTube too and watch the couple minute matches that they put on, like the highlights of the matches too. Like, But you got Raw, you got SmackDown, you got NXT, you got Talk, you got all these fucking shows. They're like, oh, we're gonna put 17,000 hours of wrestling on Peacock. Like, who the like? Does Vince McMahon think that wrestling fans are just losers that don't have a job or don't go to school or don't do anything? Like, does he think we're all unemployed and lazy and we just exist to watch wrestling? I mean, people are gonna be wearing those fucking glasses, those VR glasses, with a nonstop feed of the WWE network, walking around like fucking robots watching this shit pretty soon. I mean, you got hours upon hours of shit to watch. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you'd have to watch probably like a day's worth of content every week just to be on top of everything that's going on in this company. But if you want to be a fan of like a normal TV show out there, like The Walking Dead, they typically have like 14 episodes of the show every year. So that's 14 hours of content you got to watch every year. WWE has 14 hours of content every week that you got to keep up on. It's just too much for the normal person out there. The normal person out there that's got a 40-hour job, which you probably spend more like 50, 55 hours when you take into account the driving, getting ready for work, showering, etc. They got a family that they got to take care of. They got other things, hobbies, friends, family. Nobody has time to waste 10 or 12 hours of their week watching Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live every week. And then on top of that, you got AEW, you got other wrestling promotions, you got other sports out there. It's just too much to watch. Somebody says they can barely get through 10 minutes of Raw. Me too. I had to watch Raw in 2 segments last week because it's very hard to subject yourself through 3 hours straight of that. Somebody says they really wish they want wrestling to be great again. It used to be so fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, it's just this show has been just going downhill ever since the Attitude Era, probably ever since 2001. It's been slowly going downhill. And that's not saying like the Ruthless Aggression era wasn't good, but it's been going downhill probably ever since 2000, 2001. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Obviously, you got a shitty creative team. You got the PG era, which really hinders a lot of storylines. And it's just sad to see a once great company really fall apart. Really see a once great company that developed so many big names like Steve Austin, The Rock. And now they can't build any new stars to save their lives. It's sad, it's sad. And I feel bad for the hardcore wrestling fans out there. Kind of like myself, that really can't get any enjoyment out of this show anymore. Yeah, Raw needs to be 2 hours again, too much shows now. Yeah, I mean, it's just content overload. And like, even if WWE was like awesome, even if it was really good, it's like, who has time to watch this shit? Like, nobody wants to watch it. Imagine if there were 10 episodes of The Walking Dead every week. Like, nobody would have time to watch that. It's sensory overload. It's like, even if it was good, which it's not, it would still be too much to watch. And it's like with Raw now at 3 hours, most of the shit is just filler. Like, I got the notes of Raw yesterday, and you just look at the segments, and like the Divas tag match, terrible. AJ Styles versus R-Truth, a 3-minute throwaway match. Xavier Woods versus Slapjack, another throwaway match. Like, you just look at a lot of these matches, and they're just throwaway matches. They're filler. There's no entertainment to them at all. There's no storyline or purpose to them. They're just two wrestlers fighting and throwing punches at each other for 3 minutes. It's crazy. I mean, think about it. You got Raw that's 3 hours. You got SmackDown that's 2 hours. NXT's an hour, right? Or it might be 2. I don't know. 205 Live. Then you got Raw Talk, and all these other pay-per-views, that are 3 or 4 hours every month. It's just crazy the amount of content that they expect us WWE fans to watch. It's just too much. And yeah, I mean, somebody said 2 hours on Monday was good, and then another 2 on Friday. And remember, like, SmackDown wasn't a thing until I believe 2001, right? So I mean, 2 hours on Monday and then 2 on Friday is still a lot, but it's a lot more manageable than like what they got now. It's just it's crazy. It's like, if you watch Raw, like most people, right? They go to work 9 to 5 or whatever. They get home around 6 o'clock, clean up, you get dressed, you take a shower, you eat, and then you're watching Raw. And before you know it, your day's fucking over and you've done nothing productive and you've had no free time. And you can't say watching wrestling is free time because it sucks. Okay. So there you go, people. There's kind of my thoughts on the Royal Rumble 2021. It doesn't look like it's going to be good. I could be wrong. Every once in a while, WWE finds a diamond in the rough, a diamond in the shit, and they pull something good out of their asses. But I really, a broken clock is right 2 times a day, right? But I have very little faith in WWE doing anything good. I mean, every once in a while, you might get a good match or a good segment, but it's very rare you get a full show that's good or a full pay-per-view that's good. Very rare. And the setup that they got here with people like Goldberg in the title match, a Divas title match that I didn't even know existed, a 30 Diva Rumble match, which is going to suck ass. I don't have any faith that this show is going to be any good. I could be wrong, but I don't have much faith. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on the 2021 Royal Rumble.